Welcome to EDU World Space.
For this problem, we're given 10 different camera prices, and we're asked to estimate the true mean price of these cameras. So I've written down all 10 prices, and we're going to start this problem by calculating the mean and standard deviation. Recall that the mean is calculated using the sum of all the numbers divided by n, or the number of data points, and that's equal to your mean. Your standard deviation is calculated using this formula, where you would take the root of your differences all over n minus 1. Of course, you can do this by hand if you so choose, but I have taken the liberty of using my calculator, which I recommend you do as well. And you should get 842.6 as your mean, and around 534.3 as your standard deviation. So, with this information, the next thing we're going to do is get our t-value. Recall that in order to find our t-value, we need two components, our degrees of freedom and our confidence level. Let me actually draw a line here so you know that this is for a different thing. Our degrees of freedom for this problem is just going to be n minus 1, just like it always is. So the 10 prices minus 1, which equals 9. And our confidence level we're provided is 95%. Now, use your t-statistic table in the back of the book. Find degrees of freedom 9, confidence level 95. The resulting t-value should be 2.26. If you need help with this, go back to an earlier problem. I believe it's number 3, and there's an explanation there. So now that we have our t-value, we have our mean, and we have our standard deviation, let's create our confidence interval. So the formula for the confidence interval is as follows. You have your mean, and you're going to say plus or minus your t-value times standard deviation over the square root of n. So let's plug in what we have for that. We know that our mean was 842.6 plus or minus our t-value, which is 2.26, times our square root, or times our standard deviation, which is 534.3, all divided by the square root of total numbers, which is 10. I'll give you a minute to plug that into your calculator. Be sure to be careful with your parentheses when you're doing this. This step in particular can get very nasty if you're not using parentheses in the right way. It's a very common place for algebra errors. And then once you figure out this whole term, add it to 842 and subtract it from 842. And you will get the range of values. So hopefully you're almost there. If not, feel free to pause as needed. But your answer should be 460.7 less than or equal to mu less than or equal to 1224.45. So this is our final answer right here. And if you're asked to explain this, we can say that we are 95% confident that the true mean will be somewhere in between this range. Or in other words, if we were to sample repeatedly, 95% of the time, our true mean would fall within this range.